peace, but in front of me, if somebody is aggravated, somebody is using foul language, that makes me feel I want to get out of this place. At the same time, for instance, if that person is my loved one, is it my duty to tell them peacefully or not, is my question.
Well, so the question is, my near and dear one was using some foul language and I get disturbed. Should I correct that person? See, Amma, the first thing to do is, are you peaceful? See, when somebody is using a foul language and if you are getting disturbed, who is at fault? Because if I am disturbed, know for sure that disturbance is because of my negative reaction towards that person. Because otherwise, as your thoughts, so will be the state of your mind. Your state of mind has nothing to do with somebody's behavior. Your state of mind has only to do with your thoughts. Otherwise, if your thoughts are good, you are at peace. If your thoughts are bad, you are disturbed. Now, what happens when somebody shouts at you? Unknowingly, I have some negative thoughts against that person. It is this negative thoughts which are disturbing. But on the other hand, suppose I have only compassion for that person. Poor man. He has no control over his mind. He is completely disturbed. And naturally, when the mind is disturbed, you don't have control over your words. You blurt out something. Poor man. Bhagavan. You will be amazed. Your mind is at peace. Because you are seeing the helplessness of that person. But on the other hand, if your ego is free, how dare you speak like this? You had it. You see, somebody went to Buddha, shouted at him. Buddha was peaceful. This person got irritated. I shouted so much and he is absolutely peaceful. He said, what happened? You are not affected by my words. Buddha said, suppose a person comes and gives a gift to you and you don't accept the gift. The gift belongs to whom? He said to the person who gave. Same thing.
I'm sorry, I would like to rephrase it in a way.
See, if the mind, Nidesh, give the mind till that person is convinced.
Okay.
So, the thing is, if the person is not shouting at me, the person is shouting at somebody, and that changes the mind, the environment around.
See, you may call it environment, but basically you are disturbed. It's not the environment where all disturbance is harm. It is all the mind only. So your first responsibility is, amidst all these disturbances, are you peaceful? This is your first responsibility.
And how can I?
Whatever we have discussed.
So I have to close my ears?
Huh?
I have to close my ears?
No, in spite of listening to it, you are not disturbed. Because you understand the helplessness of that person. You are only. Just imagine, Jesus was crucified and he was exhibiting peace. Oh Lord, wait, they don't know what they forgive. You see, that ability you have, that is called as spiritual strength. See, you have, say for example, 100 units of happiness. Another person comes with 1,000 units of disturbance. So what will happen? You have only 100 units. You are disturbed. But suppose you have 1 lakh, say 1 million units of peace. Another person comes with 1,000 units of disturbance. What will happen? This is called strength, spiritual strength.
Thank you. Absolutely, I have to make my line longer than the other person's line.
See, I would prefer non-Chinya mission members first, okay? How many of you are non-Sigma members? You will become the first priority. Because these people, they go on asking questions. Yes. Those who are non-Sigma members will get the first priority.
The question I have, actually I really love it. Because you just said when you sleep, you're not aware. You're not aware. And, there's no consciousness. But from what I understand, that consciousness is present in all three states. In a way, dream, and...
Are you studying from number?
I'm becoming... So then you're curious, when you said this,
what did I say?
You said in deep sleep, you're not aware.
The mind is not aware. The ego is not aware. Consciousness is all that I am aware. Awareness is nature.
Like,
yes.
Swamiji, you talk about the disturbed mind to get peace, and you talk about meditation as well. But once you stop meditating, the mind gets disturbed again. So how do you train the mind to remain less disturbed over a period of time?
You see, when you regularly meditate, slowly mind comes to know that when I am within, I am peaceful. It becomes a habit. To abide in the self becomes a habit. So even when you are dealing with the world, a time comes when a part of the mind is holding on to the inside. Another part of the mind is dealing with the world. Earlier, when I never used to meditate, the entire part of the mind is in the world. So naturally the mind gets affected by the ups and downs of life. But slowly, with practice of meditation, one part of the mind is holding on to the reality. Yes, for example, 50% of the mind is connected with it. 50% of the mind is dealing with it. This is what happens. So you don't get disturbed. Exactly like the film theatre. You are watching the movie, you are crying also, but one part of the mind knows that all this is a bluff. Isn't it? You know that you are in the theatre and 3 hours, everything will be over and the whole story is a booked up story. But still you are crying. So one part of the mind is flowing with the flow. You are going through the flow. Another part of the mind is rooted in the truth. And that is why you are able to enjoy not the sorrow in the movie theatre. Isn't it? You are not carried away with the sorrow. Such a thing happens in this world also.
So just to follow up, the movie example, I can disconnect.
Yes.
I know that is not real, that's fiction.
Yes.
But when it comes to other things, let's say work for example, I'm not able to disconnect. The mind, it just takes over the mind. So how do you practice what I do in the movie to do in the real world?
See, in the movie everything is very clear. You very clearly know that it's an illusion and the real world is this. When you regularly meditate, you slowly come to experience something higher in you, much higher than the worldly things. There is something in you which is completely ruling even the world. As I told you, greater than the world is the mind. Greater than mind is consciousness. When you start experiencing the bliss of consciousness, you come to know that this is the real one. The rest everything is just a projection of mind. Then after that you have no problem. Yes.
I was thinking about Swadharma, and for example here, it confused me a little bit that when Ram was was told to go to the forest. Here, all the mothers, Kaushalya, Sumitra, and the father, they were in very much sorrow.
Yes.
At that time, instead of helping them, Lakshman decided to go to the forest with Ram. So how it became his Swadharma?
You see, Amma, Lakshmana knew that Bhagavan is. Lakshmana did not see Ram as just elder brother. For him, he was God himself. So, what is our duty in life? To serve the Lord. See, as far as these, what you call mothers and fathers are concerned, there are so many servants to take care of them. But as far as Bhagavan is concerned, there is nobody. And he was born to serve the Lord. One more thing I will tell you. What my Swadharma is, others cannot be. For example, Matra Devo Bhava. Okay, what did Bharata do? He could have said, Oh Kai Amma, whatever you say, I will do. You say, I want to be the king, I will do. Because scripture says Matra Devo Bhava. This is wrongly put in the scriptures. Prahalada, he could say, Pitru Devo Bhava. Hiranyakashipu says, forget about God. I am God. Hiranyakashipu Nama, that was the chanting going on. You can go Pitru Devo Bhava. What is Swadharma? Others cannot decide. From within there is a voice which comes. The voice of God. Nobody said to that. Whatever that voice says, just do it. Swadharma cannot be decided by the scriptures. No. Swadharma is a tailor-made voice which comes from within. You have to just listen to that. You can't have a standard for all. Taking care of parents is Swadharma. In that case, an army soldier, war is going on, only son. What should he do? Should he go for war or should he take care of his elderly parents? What should he do?
No, naturally, the bigger Swadharma of serving motherland comes first.
So sometimes when the Swadharmas conflict, the higher Swadharma should be taken, isn't it? For example, in this case, a soldier.
Right.
Should he take care of his elderly parents, only son, or should he go and fight the war in the borders?
Go and fight.
How you can always say, okay, he is the only son. If he is not there, who will take care of the elderly parents?
No, but Ram was God. Ram was all powerful. Ram might not require help as the mothers required or the father required. I mean, I understand a little bit, but still it's little.
What I am saying is, Swadharma cannot be decided by just like this. From within what the voice says, that is Swadharma. If the voice tells you to leave everything, that is your Swadharma. Swadharma is, I don't know which saint was it. He was going to get married. And Saudhan, is Samartha Ramdas.
Ramdas, yes.
Marriage was just going to happen. At that time, Saudhan, he ran out of there. It is Adharma. He ran away. Poor lady. If you are not married, you should in the beginning you should say, I don't want to marry. At that moment of marriage, when the knot was being tied, he hears Saudhan and he runs away from there.
Excuse me.
Is it Adharma or Swadharma?
Exactly the same thing Arjuna also did. Everything was prepared, war was ready. I mean, they came with their weapons. And at the last moment, he is telling, I don't want to fight. So Arjuna also did the same. So
that is what I am saying, the voice within. God alone can tell you. Actually, what Arjuna was doing was absolutely wrong. Fighting against also Guru. Acharya Deva Bhava. Arjuna says that, oh Lord, I am supposed to offer flowers, not shoot arrows against my teacher. He taught me everything. Bhishma Pitama, I grew up in his lap.
being a Kshatriya and to protect. Kill the Arthatai was a bigger dharma, but here in case of Lakshmana, Ram did not, Ram was incarnation of God. He naturally did not need any assistance.
Lakshmana is an avatar of Adishesha.
Yes.
So he cannot be separate from God. All those things are, that's why it says Swadharma. Lakshmana cannot be, see, externally we say all this, but who is Lakshmana? Adishesha, who is entirely Brahma, who cannot be separated from Brahma. So that is the Swadharma of Lakshmana. So he said, he got the blessing of his own mother also. You know what mother said? Lakshmana, your only job is to serve Brahma. So go away from him. This is what his own mother said. Yes.
One of the takeaways for me is meditation is the most important thing. But what is a practical way in which you can tell what are the steps you can do for someone who has never taken that meditation? For myself, I can say, if I sit inside for 15 minutes, I'll probably be more agitated. More agitated.
You sit for 15 minutes, there is more agitation.
Because, I'm not able to sit for 15 minutes.
Yes.
So
that
what
is
are the
right.
practical steps to check the breathing, look at the breathing, thoughts, check the witness.
All those things will help. To make the breathing slow and steady and deep, mind will be correct. In the beginning, don't go for 1 hour and 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But slowly. You see, marathon runners, they don't run 2 hours at a time. In the beginning, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Slowly, the body gets used to it. And slowly, a time comes when you are able to run for 3 hours, 4 hours, sometimes. Isn't it? Same thing with mind also. In the beginning, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, slowly increase. And you will find that as you are doing it, there is more and more bliss, there is more and more joy. Once you are able to go deeper, you are able to substitute the negative thoughts with positive thoughts. At the same time, one more thing is very important. When you are living in this world, live a righteous life, clean life, pure life, disciplined life. To the extent you are external living, behaving, all those, the way you carry yourself in the world, to that extent there is a refinement there, to that extent your meditation will be successful.
So meditation should be this slow, deep breathing, and then just watch your thoughts and don't let your thoughts wander into.
Yes. You will find that as you are doing meditation, you come to know that there is so much of faith inside. There is helplessness, mind is wandering and you are nowhere. That is a time when you come to know, problem is a big problem. See, as long as you don't look within, you really don't know how much mess is there inside. Slowly, as you are looking within, you come to know how much of mess. Then you really become serious. And then, life of karma yoga. I don't know whether you are there on the case. So the 4 important principles: performing your duties as a worship of the Lord, not living according to your likes and dislikes, whatever you feel right, doing it. There's a struggle. All those struggles start purifying the mind, and a time comes when you are able to control your thoughts. You see, you become more and more strong than your mind. Then the mind listens to you. The wild horse now becomes a tamed horse, and now you are able to decide where the horse should go. So slowly that improvement you start seeing. Then your meditation reaches a new height. Then you know the knack of meditation. So there are a lot of things to learn. In the beginning, yes, deep breathing, slow breathing, it helps a lot. But slowly you start going deeper and deeper. And all these techniques will help. It's a time-consuming process. Don't expect results in 1 week and 2 weeks. No, it's a lifelong process.
Swamiji, on the same note, is there a good time to do the meditation?
Yes. Mornings times are the best because you have taken rest for 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours. Body is fresh, mind is fresh. That's the best.
Can the spiritual mind, a controlled mind, coexist with ambition, desire to grow for your family, for yourself? Can those two coexist? And so, what is the best?
See, what happens is, as you become more and more spiritual, you intuitively know there is a higher power taking care of you. Whatever you need, it will come to you. You know, when the child is born, the world doesn't have the means to feed the child. It can't digest any food. But the cosmic intelligence is such. The moment child is born, mother's breast is filled with milk. Who did it? Mother did not know. Father did not know. Nobody in the world knew. But there is some power which knew the need of the child before the child is even born. Child itself doesn't know. But that cosmic intelligence takes over. So as you grow in spirituality, you come to know that there is an intelligence who has been taking care of me, who will take care of me. Whatever needs I have, it will take care. Whatever challenges I am going to face, I will be empowered before I face the challenge. Might is increased. You understand? Then what happens to ambition? It's not needed. Your job is to be in tune with the divine. Did I answer your question? Whether it's money, it will come. You have kids, their education has to be taken care, food, shelter, clothing has to be taken care, money is needed. The divine will say, see, remember you are just an instrument in the hands of God. You are a worldly mother, but as a divine mother, your child actually belongs to that Lord. You think it belongs to me. It's a wrong notion. The child belongs to you. So who has to take care of your child? Lord. You are only a representative, you are only an instrument. So whatever the child needs, it has to be provided. Your job is only to remain in tune with it. Whatever is needed will just come. That doesn't mean that you just lie down idle. No. You will be given a talent, and that talent will give you a particular job, and with that job you will earn your money. With that money you will take care of it. But even as you are working hard in your profession, you know that this inspiration to work hard, this talent and ability to remain in that job, everything is given by Him. So even though you are doing it, you know deep down that everything is being done by Him. Then you are relaxed. There is no stress. Because, see, in the train, you have the luggage. Do you carry your luggage? Because the train is already carrying it. You just keep it up. Relax. This is an example given by Mahaprabhu. Train is carrying it. Just keep it. Our condition is we are carrying the luggage in the train. If I don't carry, who will carry? Our job is to be in the train. In the same way, our job is to remove the rain. The reef, the force, the power, which is taking care of everyone. Be for it. Child in the lap of mother. Relax. But suppose the child doesn't know that I am in the lap of mother, then what will happen to the child? Worry that he doesn't know that he is already in the lap. Our job is only to remember this. I am the lap. Got it? Now anyone can ask us. There is Shweta.
So just going off of the question. How do you So going on with the last question, so if that's the case, it's not much. So knowing that brings great peace something, knowing that they put your life down and you things nothing. Why would we forget about that so often? Such that when you're in a moment of a crunch or a moment of discomfort, suddenly you feel, I have to solve for this because if I don't solve for this, this is not going to solve itself. Why do we so often forget that the dream is having the limit?
We forget it because we have not trained the mind to remember it. Mind behaves based on habits. Whatever habits you have created in the mind, mind will behave accordingly. If you have created a habit of forgetfulness of God, mind will ever forget this. But if you create a habit of remembering this again and again, mind will remember. Mind is nothing but a bundle of habits. So that is why remembering God should become a habit. That is spiritual sadhana. Every moment, now and then, again and again. Not Sunday church, Friday mosque. No. Every moment. Every moment when you do, it becomes a habit. And even amidst tragedy and problems, one thought of doing is holding on.
Thank you so much. So, following up on Auntie's question here, so when somebody is creating an issue or being mean or talking loud or talking unkind words, you're there in that family situation. What is your duty or responsibility? You're the eldest kid or you have your parents, nobody's talking. And do you let the person continue or do you let it be?
See, who is strong? A peaceful person or a disturbed person?
Peaceful.
So in the room, suppose there are 5 people. One person is making noise, shouting, telling. And here is a person who is very peaceful. Not taking him seriously at all. Ever smiling. Ever using sweet words. 5 people are there. One fellow shouting, you are very peaceful. You are very kind. You are very sweet. You are very forgiving. You will find that the other 3 people start scolding on you. You become a role model in the eyes of others. In fact, in the eyes of other followers. Even the person who is shouting, deep down, he will have a deeper awareness of you. You understand? He will be ashamed of himself. I'm the one who is shouting, no control over words, no control over words, using only harsh words. And here is this lady, ever peaceful, ever loving, ever servant, ever humble. In your presence, you will find that other members start finding peace, solace, strength, guidance. This is how slowly you emerge as a role model. Your peace should make that person who is shouting ashamed of bitterness. There is a silence of gloom. There is a silence of depression. There is a silence of hopelessness. This silence is not there. This is a cheerful silence. You understand? Just because you are silent, you are not shouting the God. What kind of silence you are radiating is the most important thing. Is it a silence of joy? Silence of cheerfulness? Silence of contentment? Silence of wisdom? That is what unsettles what the disturbance. You are like a Himalaya. And the other person's noise is like a noise of the rivulet, a small stream going. You are standing there like a Himalaya. Make that person shameful of his disturbance. That person with this person. When Bhagavan Ramana, some of the scholars, those people have studied scriptures, so they wanted to prove that Ramana Maharshi knew nothing. Because he was not a man of scriptures. But when they came in front of Ramana Maharshi, they came to argue and to prove that he is innocent. But when they came to Ramana Maharshi, they felt as though they were rats in front of the lion. That unshakable peace, firm abidance. Here was a person who was practicing scriptures, and these people only knew by rote the scriptures. Everybody became silent. They had come to argue with him. They immediately went away from him. Understand? The silence is very powerful. If you are truly practicing that silence, it is the strength of spirituality. Are you to get what I am saying?
A little bit sorry. I don't know how to be content and silent when somebody is shouting their head off in front of you.
See, without being in tune with God, you can't do this. The problem is you are trying to do it as an ego. You can't do this. When somebody shouting, you will be thrown out of balance. Because ego is weak. We by ourselves, we don't have any strength. Somebody shouts at us, we are distant. Somebody abuses us, we are distant. We are very weak. When you are in tune with God, that strength is trust. What happens is when somebody shouts at us, we forget him. Our attention is totally upon him. And his imperfection. And we are meditating upon his perfection than meditating upon perfection of God. That's the way we go. You are finished when you are seeing the weakness of somebody. I agree, this needs tremendous amount of spiritual strength. But this is the way we have to do. That person is helping you to remember. Any person who is disturbing you, remember he is your guru. He is a stepping stone for you to grow in spirituality. Never see him as an enemy, no. Lot of resistance is needed to become strong. Physically, when you become strong, when you lift heavy weight, there is a resistance. Gravity is a resistance. When you work against resistance, you become strong. In spirituality also, the more and more you start growing spiritually, more and more such resistant people will be there. They are kept to make you strong. They are deliberately planted by Bhagavan. You understand? If your peace is 100 units, there will be a person who will distribute 101 units. Right kind of person you are. Maybe as your children, as your in-laws, as your husband, whatever. Beautifully they are planted. Your job is to convert every calamity into an opportunity.
That definitely.
So many hands are coming up now. I have touched a very sensitive.
Spiritual journey. So till we reach that phase where the other person's actions do not bother us or we are just have a silent, blissful reaction, till that then how do you recommend we balance it? Because you unfortunately cannot totally detach from that situation or circumstances or people. So how do we reach a state that it is at least neutral, that it doesn't affect you as much while we are working on ourselves as well?
See, every time you interact with that difficult person, you are disturbed. Go back to meditation. That should have dealt with this situation? What is the mistake I have done? How there is something called me and my ideal me. Did I behave according to my ideal me? Or did I make a mistake? It was, oh, I shouldn't have spoken that. Oh, I should have responded this way. Every time it was, every time you interact with that person, mind is disturbed. Come back and introspect why the mind is disturbed, which negative thought is creating this disturbance. You are not able to change that person. No. You are able to know because that person has indicated some imperfection in you. That's why the mind is disturbed. Find out what is that negative thought which you want to work on. Every interaction must lead to introspection. And every introspection must lead to one line of action. Okay, next time I will not do this. Go on trying to improve. And the time will come when that person is there, but his absence of person doesn't make any difference.
So does that mean that you kind of detach from that, or from the person?
Not total detachment. Attach. See, some people you have no choice. In the family itself, that person is there right in front of you, and generally they remain with you for long. But there is a divine plan to help you. You are. They will remain with you, healthy. Somebody will be there. I go to the office, all of me, oh. Nobody is free from all this kind of thing. Nobody. But as a spiritual person, you are not trying to eliminate that person. You are just trying to eliminate the disturbance in the presence of that person. Even when that person is in front of me, once you have attained that state, you have transcended that state, you will find that that person just disappears because you have learned the lesson. This is a challenge. The presence or absence of that person is not affecting your peace. Once you achieve this, you will learn your lesson. Till then, in this birth you have not attained, in next birth somebody will of similar kind. That means you have not learned your lesson. See, the problem is not that person. The problem is with mind responding to that situation. Lesson will keep on repeating in different ways. So better learn your lesson.
I had another question. So basically when we talk about I am nothing, I know nothing, how do you balance it with like being confident, having aims and goals in life? Like how do you balance?
You see, there is a difference between humility and inferiority complex and self-respect and superiority complex. Humility is a virtue, inferiority complex is a vice. It's a negative virtue. Both appear same. A person with inferiority complex and a person with humility appear same, but there is a huge difference. A person who is humble knows that I am a nobody and everybody is a nobody. Because all abilities belong to God. Since you are in touch with the reality of God, humility is called a virtue. Whereas a person with inferiority complex, that inferiority complex is nothing but his own ego. Today I have nothing, so I am a nobody. He will also say I am a nobody. But according to him, this person is a somebody. That person is a somebody. Today I am a nobody, tomorrow I should become a somebody. When I become a somebody, I am happy. Yes, it is ego only. That's why he is miserable. He is miserable that he is a nobody. Whereas a humble person, he will also say he is a nobody because he is a cheerful person. He is not trying to become a somebody. He knows that nobody can become a somebody because all the abilities belong to him. This is called humility. Humility is not inferiority complex. Now let us take the other one. Superiority complex is I am somebody. This fellow is a nobody. I am greater is inferior. There's a joy of ego boasting. That is a negative trait. In self-respect, you say, God, I am a nobody, but by your grace I can do anything. That is not a confidence. Confidence is not because I am powerful. Confidence is because of my trust in Him who is all powerful. You understand? Hanumanji, when he was told by Jambavan, Hanuman, you are all powerful. You can easily cross over this ocean. When they were asking him, Jambavan asking him, who can cross this ocean? So Hanuman, he said, I can jump only 15 minutes. This is 800 miles. Everybody was just, Uncle said, I can go, but there is no guarantee I will come back. Hanuman was sitting quiet and quiet. So Jambavan said, Hanuman, you are powerful. Why are you sitting quiet? Nothing happened. Then Jambavan said, you know, you are born to serve the Lord. The moment he heard that, he started to be huge and become a mountain of gold. That's the description. What does it mean? If God has given me a responsibility, He will empower me to fulfill that responsibility. Whether it is crossing the ocean or whether it is lifting a mountain, He can do it. Either way, the value is responsible. You see, the moment that statement came from Jambavan, Hanumanji became immense. This is what I said. And then Hanumanji says, Jambavan, what do you want me to do? Crossing this ocean is just a puddle of water. I will uproot the Trinda mountain along with Lanka, kill the Ravana along with all his armies. I will bring the Trinda mountain. Tell me what you want. This was a confidence level. But if God has decided to choose me as an instrument, I have no problem. He will empower me. Left to myself, I am not very much. Clear? This is confidence.
Sorry, one last question. We spoke about death today and how the desires get, you should not have desires at that point. But what about the attachment to family? At some point, how do we reach that stage that our loved ones, like our kids, our spouses? I don't know how does a person get to that level of being spiritual? That family ties or anything doesn't bother them at that point of death.
You see, I know a mother is speaking to me. So see, you see the mistake we do. The child was in my womb. Who was taking care of the child? The child was in power. We forget this. My child. That child is in because of me. He was taking care. Even when the child came out, the food, the milk, water, I completely forget him. And I now only think of me and my child. But the real person who was taking care of everything is God. Even when the child is born, not taking care of the child is very, very difficult. 24/7 have to get it. This child will cry anytime. 12 o'clock in the midnight, 1 o'clock will cry. Now when they give you dirty also. And clean the child and all kinds of disease also come. It's very, very difficult. It is impossible to bring up a child. So what did Bhagavan do? He filled the heart of a mother with a lot of love, infinite love for the child. When there is love, no effort is enough. Anything you can do if there is love. So he filled the heart of a mother with a lot of love. Because of like he said, a lot of sacrifice. So food, your rest, energy, money, everything got to sacrifice. Bring this little love. Not easy. But then He empowered you by giving His infinite love into your heart for your child. So He was taking care. Outside the womb also He empowered you. Everything He did for you. And what's the mistake you did? I forgot. My child. I sacrifice for my child. I am. You are finished. You are finished. Now the child will give maximum tears to you. The very same child which is being joyed by you becomes the source of maximum tears also. You see all the mothers, all the time they are thinking of the child only. And you suffocate that child. It is not learning, it is suffocation. Child has no freedom. All the time, better to do this, better to do that, better. And the relationship becomes suffocating. There is no freedom. What's the mistake you made? You became ungrateful to your Creator. Today, my creation has become ungrateful to me. Whatever you do to him, same thing your child will do to you. But suppose you say, God, I am only an instrument. You are the real mother of this child. Please tell me how to bring up your child. It is your child, I am only an instrument. The more and more you are grateful to him, amazingly, your relationship with your child will improve. How you treat him, your child will treat you. It's karma treatment. That is what is karma yoga. Now raising a child becomes a worship of God. God, this is a responsibility of you. May I fulfill the responsibility according to your to please you. Then mothering experience becomes a worship. Then you learn that whatever good is for the child, he will intuitively tell you, this is what you have to do, this is what you have to take care. He is translating you. Child is happy, mother is happy, God is happy. Win-win situation. So on one side the child is very beautifully, on the other side your relationship with God, because you are clearly seeing His love flowing through you. So just like I love my child, there is somebody who is loving me. Your relationship with God grows. You see, that's why the ashram is called the Rasta Ashram. It's also a spiritual institution. Raising a child is also a spiritual practice. But for that, God has to. Clear? Yes, sir.
I'm going to talk about the same question, first question, which she touched base on. Like when we're on the path of life, sometimes we meet some people and we do end up in a better relationship with them. Sometimes because of situation, that person might be right and you are right too. You are in the same family, same around that person. You make peace with yourself by not talking to them, giving them a silent treatment, or just leaving them, basically. Do you think that treatment is a correct treatment? You found peace in myself, like I found it. But is that treatment correct? According to the Dharma, according to what I am doing.
See, when you are with that person, not disturbed.
Sorry?
When you are with that person, are you disturbed?
Yes. I am. It is effective.
So this is the peace of avoidance, correct?
Yes.
Now the thing is, are you internally forgiving that person?
No, I don't think so. I have to forget that person.
See,
I also feel that person is correct on their own way and I am correct in my own way. People are brought up two ways differently.
you are all at the same house or?
I don't say how we will meet, kind of thing, I would say.
You should not be disturbed in the presence of anyone. This is the test of your positivity. In his presence or in his absence, you are peaceful. It is like a person saying, Swamiji, when I drive in the middle of the street, I am scared. But when I am driving in the open ground, everything is fine. In the open ground, I am a good driver. But in the Indian streets,
So, how do I do that? How do I, like, when I'm around that person, how should I do something to myself that I am not disturbed?
see that person's presence is triggering negative thoughts in you. That's why you are disturbed.
Yes.
That is your weakness, that is where you have to work. So, so why negative thoughts? Because the moment that person comes, your mind is filled with all the bad things that person has done.
Yes.
Instead, when that person comes, if your thoughts are divine, he's also a person who's evolving, just like I am evolving. I have my weakness, he's also a weakness. We all evolving in life. Someday or the other, everyone has to reach that understood. He is struggling with his negativity, just like I am struggling with my negativity. With a lot of compassion, forgiveness. If you can train your thoughts like this, even the presence of that person,
Do not bother me.
yes, this is called a healthy weight. This is called a healthy weight. If somebody is struggling with negativity, that mind is unhealthy.
I should say that I have tried doing that also. What you're
You
saying.
have to try even harder. Your success is that person is with you, but your mind is at peace. This is your success. If you don't do this, such people will again and again come into your life. Because it's a wound. That person is only touching your wound and you are in pain. Then you say, I never that person. A person is not the problem, wound is the problem. Somebody else will touch the wound. If this wound is healed, anyone, you have no problem. If it is not healed, today that person may not be there, another person will touch them. Then you say, I never this person, I never that person. And heal the wound. Understood? Healthy mind is a proof that all the wounds are healed.
Okay. Picking up something exactly, there are so many people who don't talk to their extended family members, like in-laws, or just stop talking to them because they're getting some bad treatments or something like that. Do you think that treatment, definitely you cannot avoid them, but giving that treatment of not talking to them is a correct thing?
See, it is about somebody else. No?
Yes.
Why are you worried about somebody else? Are you doing everything right? That's all.
Yes.
This person is not doing the right thing, that person is not doing it. It's not my business.
Yeah.
There are so many people doing all wrong things. And then karma fire will come to them. I will come about it. And I am the right track. I am not here to change others, transform others, reform others. I am here to reform myself. That's not what is it. Your peace depends on your thoughts, your actions. Your peace has nothing to do with somebody else's karma. Is the mind working? Is it on? I don't hear it.
Is now better?
Okay.
No, this is okay. So my question is with respect to the thoughts. Okay. You mentioned that, and I hope I heard it correctly, you mentioned that the thoughts sit in the lap of consciousness.
Yes.
Consciousness is ever-loving and full of compassion. And by that logic, all thoughts should be positive, but then it doesn't happen that the thoughts come in our mind. If not every
Thoughts and consciousness is giving existence to thoughts. Thoughts by itself has no existence. Without consciousness, thought cannot exist. Isn't it? Whether it is good thoughts or bad thoughts, it exists because of consciousness.
So both exist. So like within consciousness, it is every kind of a thought. That you see, or is that mind?
It gives existence to good and bad. Just like the waker is giving existence to the entire dream world. In the dream world, you may be seeing good things and bad things. But what is that bad thing? It is me only. That bad thing is existing because of me, the waker. When you wake up, you come to know, oh, so many things I saw. In the dream world, a lion is chasing you. Okay? In the dream world, a lion is chasing you. And you are scared and you are running head and start and you are climbing it. And the lion comes along, suddenly you wake up. Who gave existence to that lion?
Serenity.
So we understand that God provides us everything that we need to do our duty. We also understand that difficulties we face are tests. But then sometimes it is hard to distinguish between what is a test and what is something God is giving to help us.
Yes.
So how do we distinguish?
See, when you are ruled by the ego, you are confused. Why God is giving this test? The more and more you surrender, first statement should be God, whatever you are doing is right. I don't know why it is right, but it is right. This is called a surrender. Cheerful acceptance of choice and situation. To the extent you surrender, intuitively you will come to why He is giving you this. But if the mind is ruled by the ego, you will just not understand why this is happening. Even when the punishment God gives, intuitively you will know, yes, this is given so that this particular defect in me, I can overcome. So first step is be humble, surrender, don't question, beyond faith, go down. It's such a peace of mind, He is able to communicate to you. God will provide a child and give you for your good. See, this defect in you should go away, that is okay. He will not. We are not able to listen to Him because we are filled with the ego. So this is what you are doing. Just accept. Without wondering, without talking. Then He will let you know why you are going through certain things. Just like a mother who is a child, she will tell also, who did this? That's why I'm doing it. You understand?
How we differentiate between self-respect and pride?
How do we differentiate between self-respect and pride? You see, when I say that I am a great man, that is pride. But when a person says, I am nobody, but the Lord is residing in my heart, so therefore this entity deserves respect. Why does this entity deserve respect? Because Lord is inside my heart. That is called self-respect. So in self-respect, not only you respect the self, you respect everybody. Because Bhagavan is inside. In pride, you respect only yourself and you want the love of others.
Nice, thank you. Now, with the same relation, another question. It comes as the Vedas teach us, or kind of Aham Brahmasmi. Then, to get the God's grace, you require to surrender to Him. So those two are very conflicting thoughts. So, what is the right way?
You see, there is something which you have to do, and there is something which He has to do. There is something called self-effort, there is something called God's grace. Unless you do the self-effort, God's grace doesn't descend upon you. So what is self-effort? I am a nobody. That is self-effort. Effacing the ego, that is self-effort. This is something which I can do.
So surrendering is self-effort.
Surrendering, ego effacing, being humble, etc. This is which we can do. Effacing our ego. God's grace is giving you the experience that mercy. It is not something which with effort you can do. It has to come as God's grace. Aham Brahmasmi experience is God's grace. Aham Shunyosmi is self-effort. Got it? Exactly like when you go to sleep. There is something which you have to do, and there is something which cosmos has to do. Work hard, get tired, get exhausted and die. This is all which you can do. You can't say, I will sleep at 10 o'clock. You can't. Then sleep overpowers you. You see, there is something which you can do, there is something which you can't do. You can't do, consciously go to sleep. Something happens if you are asleep. Understand? But there is something which you can do which will help you get into sleep easily. What is that? Work hard, get exhausted, get tired. This is here.
Swami, I just need a clarification. You said you meditate. Can you analyze thoughts, or should your mind be free of thoughts?
There is a stage where you have to employ the thoughts, and there is a stage when the thoughts disappear. There are two stages. Turning your attention to the self, remembering all the virtues of the self. Here you have to employ the thoughts. And when your mind gets totally abiding in the self, you come to know, I am already secure, I am already peaceful, nothing need to be done. When the mind comes to know this, because that mind is experiencing that perfection of the self, that mind becomes silent. Why is the mind noisy? Mind is noisy because it thinks that there are so many things to be done to experience that bliss. But the moment the mind comes to know, there is nothing to be done, it is already me. So there is a stage where mind has to be applied, there is a stage where the mind has to be applied. Exactly like the pole vault. You know the pole vault? There is a stage where the pole has to be used, and there is a stage where it has to be dropped. You cannot say there is no drop in the beginning. In the beginning, if you drop the pole, you will remain where you are. The pole is the one use. Using the pole is what? Rampanas to wedges. Wedges to circle. Finally, a stage comes in. Drop the pole. You will realize.
A question on like supporting your self-respect versus being silent blissfully. Like how do you balance that?
Self-respect.
Silently being blissful, like you're already silent.
Blissfully silent.
But you are obviously upset about it. But and how do you support your self-respect? Like somebody is triggering and hurting your self-respect every time. At some point, either you stand up for yourself, or you have a situation where you just
Stand up for yourself and shout back.
not shout, keep silent and try to avoid the situation, or reach that till you reach that spiritual level of being not affected. So how do you stand up for yourself? Not side. I'm not saying, but in the same way, it should not. Self-respect in a way. How do you reach a phase where it doesn't affect you as much, and yet you're able to sleep and be blissful and calm.
Till you reach the spiritual. So you don't want spirituality.
No, I'm saying that. It's hard to cross that phase. We're all
It is hard, but are you trying? See, now you are giving me no option but to shout back. From the spirituality student, don't talk about spirituality. And there is somebody who is acting on my self-respect. What to do? What to do? Without spirituality, then you do that, what else can you do? You will be miserable. You shout at somebody, come back, look within, what you will find? You will find disturbance. That person disturbed you, tit for tat. You disturbed him by using much more harsher words, cruel words, hurting words. And even that, you remember throughout his life. That's there. When you come back, what is the state of your mind? Your mind is mess. Suppose you remain silent, again it's a mess. He told me so many things and I got it. No, he will think that he was right. So silence is also a problem. Shouting back is also a problem. That's what you're saying.
No, Swami, my question was maybe there's silence to a point that it affects your own health. That is dangerous. So at some point you should not be that silent that it affects your health.
Now the thing is, when you are silent, mind is disturbed. Why is the mind disturbed? Analyze. If it is affecting your health, it simply means that the negativity is still there. You are not diffusing the negativity. You are carrying the negativity. Somebody injected something negative into you. You are carrying it. Spiritual strength must be such that you should be able to ignore this negativity. That is the purpose of spirituality. At that moment, yes, you carry some negativity. Then you work on yourself. All this principle, whatever we have discussed, analyze, introspect. At least within 1 or 2 days, you must be free from this negativity. Immediately you will not be able to get it out because that needs some understanding. Doesn't matter. At least next day, at least 1 more day, you will find the truth because of the right thinking. And slowly that FIR, remember the FIR test. You are there. Frequency, intention, recovery time. How quickly you recover from that negative mood. As you go in spirituality, you are able to come out of it very fast. The recovery time should increase. It should increase. There is no other way other than spirituality. There is no other way. Any other ways pacify your ego, but it's not the solution. There's a joy of the ego also, beware of that. He gave you one, I gave you two. Now there's a peace. Don't revel in that peace. Egoistic peace is sweet poison. It is sweet, but it is poison.
So I think we have time for one quick question. It's already 12:10. Does anybody want to take the last question?
Last question.
Relationship advice?
Last question for this session.
For this
you are most welcome to ask him. I am in Chicago.
So, going back to my previous question. So, I forgot to ask you that before. So, when there is something happening, and I'm a work in progress, and I'm saying, okay, I can control myself, but I think I can work on maintaining my peace and being quiet. But if the other person keeps talking and keeps piling up blame on top of blame because everybody is silent, there is no end to it. And if you don't respond, the person takes that as the truth, and that becomes the truth going forward. So how do you avoid that? Or do you just keep to your silence and keep quiet? I ask because I am the oldest sibling. Does that become my duty to say something? I don't think if I say anything, things would stop there. But
see, only in an environment of discussion, there is a possibility of presenting your point. Discussion is what the other person is open-minded. So when the other person is open-minded, then you can say, see, it is not like that, it is like this. Then the other person, oh, I am okay. That's what is an environment of discussion. But generally, if there is an environment of argument, that other person just wants to prove that I am right and you are. There is no point in, because that person is not listening to you. As you are telling your argument, he is preparing his argument to comment. There is no healthy discussion. There is no point. But if the third person is the one who wants to know what is the argument, you can of course